Howdy, all. I'm Adam the Renaissance Nerd. One of the main themes I like to talk about on this channel is the idea of respecting the lore, respecting the source material. That's why when I covered Wheel of Time, Rings of Power, I and many others, we get bent out of shape because you watch destruction of the lore, the source material. The whole reason people love these things. We fall in love with these IPs, these franchises, because of what the original creators do, or in some cases, what the original creators then oversee as a franchise maybe gets bigger. And they are not directly involved, but they have oversight, and they're saying, stay here, stay there, this and that. Best example, George Lucas and the Star Wars Expanded Universe. As I said, though, there's a reason we love these things. Because the original source material speaks to us, touches us all in certain ways. Right now, I'm watching a lot of people replay The Witcher 3 with the next gen upgrade. I'm a casual Witcher fan. I've played all the games. I liked them. They were good. But I don't have a hardcore attachment to it. That doesn't stop me from seeing Blood Origin as the abomination it was and understanding better that the Witcher series itself, when it had Henry Cavill, was not doing a good job of adhering to the lore and source material. But there are others out there who are far more in love with the franchise than I am, and it's showing when they play these games. And it's showing in their reactions, too. The abominations that are put up on television, or in this case, I guess, streaming. We call it TV now. It's basically what it is. So when I say fans, we the fans who are passionate, are the lifeblood of everything, it has meaning. We are the ones that spend the money when they push it forward. If you say that it's time to abandon canon, that reveals you for who you are. It's not a surprise when you pull up something like Shill BR and this individual called Ben Bishop puts up an article saying, from Star Wars to Marvel, it's time big franchises abandoned canon. When somebody says that, it is obvious they do not care about the IPs they are referring to. They don't care. If you care about something, you don't want it messed with. You understand an adaptation cannot be perfect one-to-one. But it can be done where certain things are left out, but it's adhering to the original plotline, the original themes, the original character developments. And you're okay with it. Because you can see it was done with love and respect. Recent development, Star Wars and Marvel make the franchise better able to handle plot holes. However, there's one way to avoid them entirely. Talks about how Disney Star Wars is messed up Ahsoka even more. I mean, Ahsoka's already pretty messed up thanks to Dave Filoni himself, but it's really Disney makes it even worse. Disney Star Wars has become worse because they essentially screw with their own timeline over and over again. They create their own plot holes. Yes, were there plot holes in the expanded universe? Of course there were. Because at the beginning, George hadn't finished penning the prequel trilogy. So a lot of stuff when it was started with Timothy Zahn, other authors, they were only working with what was available to them from certain rules from the tabletop game and what George would give an okay for. And then George went and did the prequel trilogy and retconned a lot of stuff that had already been put down in the EU. And so going forward, things were retconned. But you know what? As I said, there's the explanation for it. And if you read the perfect example, if you read Timothy Zahn's 20th anniversary special edition of Heir to the Empire with his footnotes in it, with his annotations, you see his thought process and he explains what's going on and why this existed and why it didn't match up with what eventually happened. So it makes there's ways to make sense about this. But for a little twit like this to say it's okay and to say all these things happen with all these plot holes. And this is my favorite line. Through retcons and rewrites, the MCU likewise has a few plot threads that happen to tie together in strangely conflicting ways. That's their own fault. That has nothing to do with adhering to canon. That's their own fault because people aren't communicating. The problem of canon is one that spans far longer than just over a century of movie making. And it's hard for fans to reconcile new, apparently conflicting media with one another. No, it's not. Real fans do not have a problem reconciling plot holes. We point them out when they're made because, well, we're autistic over that shit. We remember this shit. We see it when it happens. There's no problem reconciling. It's you, the fake fan, who doesn't bother to learn the lore that has a problem with it because your smooth brain cannot comprehend why there's a problem. That's the issue. Real fans, we're upset, we're angry. Not because there's plot holes, but because you're abandoning the canon to make the plot holes. The solution is relatively simple and has already been integrated in such franchises like Game of Thrones. Oh, you mean Game of Thrones? The monumentally epic disaster that was the Game of Thrones seasons 5 through 8? Because that's what I hear. Because remember, I'm not a Game of Thrones guy, not a germ guy. I didn't watch it, don't like it. But I know I have plenty of people around me who were into it, who are into it, who constantly lived through the PTSD of it. 1 through 4, good, because guess what? It generally stuck to the lore. 5 through 8, complete and utter collapse because they weren't on the lore anymore. Now, that's Germ's fault as much as D&D's fault. But, see the problem there. It fails when you break from the lore. Essentially, the MCU and Star Wars, the DCU and more would profit less from trying to contain all their stories in a tightly controlled and yet leaky canon. Rather, they do well to take a postmodern approach, abandoning canon altogether. Abandoning canon would essentially allow fans to connect in their minds the different storylines and the times of Star Wars and Marvel as they see fit. No, see, real fans want it all to connect and lead to the proper stories. That's all we want. That's all we ever ask for. And when you are preaching for this stuff to break away, you're proving you hate it. You're proving that it frustrates you, just like it frustrated the Obi-Wan writer's room. Oh, we can't adhere to canon because it's annoying. I feel restricted because I can do a better job than the people who were great at this was. You're not limited by canon. You are not handicapped by canon. Canon keeps you on the rails. Canon keeps you true, keeps you honest. Look at Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time is a disaster because it immediately broke canon. It broke the lore. It went off the rails. So much so that this upcoming season 2, which could happen any minute now, is way off into the wilds. It is not remotely the original stories anymore. It isn't. A strikingly good example of this can be found in The Legend of Zelda, wherein some games are sequels and some games are dreams, but they all purposely take place within the same basic timeline. Oh, see, you've just proven you're wrong. Now, I haven't been in the Zelda game since Link to the Past, or Link's Awakening, maybe more precise. I've been out of the Zelda game because I moved on from Nintendo. I'm not a Nintendo guy anymore. But I know plenty of people who are into it, and I've always asked the question, what happened with the Zelda timelines? Tell me, please, because these games all don't seem to sync up. And you know what I get? Very easy answer. Ocarina of Time, split it. There are 2 timelines. And the fan base accepts it. And the fan base accepts when one game fits into that particular timeline. And they're okay with it. Nobody has a problem with it. They simply play their Zelda and they love their Zelda. So this proves this micro brain didn't even do their research. It is not the same basic timeline. According to Zelda fans, when asked, Ocarina of Time splits it to 2 timelines. moron, fake fan, and you just outed yourself again. It's just that there is no way of knowing when a game takes place within a timeline. Oh, there is. Again, I've asked fans, actual Zelda fans, players of the games in current time. They know exactly when a game fits in due to whatever basically has to do with usually Ganon, I think. They know exactly when and where, which timeline it goes in. This postmodern approach has led to fan theories tying the stories together, making them in parallel timelines based upon only their own No, it's not imagination. It's fact. It's fact that you are a fake fan. Star Wars, more than any other, exemplifies a franchise that would benefit from taking a postmodern approach. Star Wars canon is essentially anything published after Disney's takeover. No, that's your definition. You do not, buying it on a piece of paper does not delegitimize 20 plus years of actual Star Wars canon overseen by George Lucas himself. As I repeatedly say when this comes up, George may have bitched about the EU off and on, but George had a direct hand in its crafting. He vetoed things. He okayed things. When the new Jedi Order arc started, he sat all the authors down and said, here are the rules you can do. Here are the rules you can break, because New Jedi Order reshaped the Star Wars lore and galaxy. And George said, here's what you can do. Here's what you can't do. Go at it. Check back with me. I remember, because I had a DVD that had the whole conference, the whole thing that I read. 20 years ago now, but it's long since been lost, but you get my point. Star Wars canon does not count when it says Disney took it over. No. But they constantly want you to believe that. They constantly want you to push it. They've driven it into the ground. I've predicted many times now, when Disney is forced to start selling things off, Star Wars is going to be the first thing to go, or one of them, because it doesn't make them money. They don't make money on merch. Sorry, Andor sucks. It didn't make money. Going to go on, giving their example. This person is a total loser. Fake fan. You out yourself. And it's disingenuous. Trying to make the case that real fans can't handle slight changes. No, the truth is, real fans, we know it all. And it makes people like Ben Bishop feel inferior because they can't walk the walk, talk the talk. They can't go the distance with us because we remember everything and they know nothing. We are the fans. We are the passionate ones. We're the lifeblood of everything. And without us, all these franchises are failing. All right, I'm done. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, a like would be very much appreciated. If you are new here, I invite you to check out the channel, hit that subscribe button. I hope to earn your trust and support using facts and logic, because facts and logic do not care about whiny Stan and SJW Fifis. Hit the notification button, share my video if you like what I'm preaching, and by all means, leave a comment. You don't always have to agree with me. You might always think I'm a little faulty in my decision-making, but it's my take, my opinion, and I respect your opinion as well, because I care what you think. I don't care what Stans and SJWs think, because 201, they're all cowards behind keyboards, and they're so easily triggered that I love it when it happens. Thank you again for watching. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach out to me at therennerd@gmail.com. That email's for channel business only, so I check it on a daily basis. Also, you can find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can find me at Rumble and Odyssey, The Renaissance Nerd. Thank you again. See you next time.